Well, it's October 12th today. It's the 2009 fall hunting season, and I was able to get a non-resident North Dakota mule deer tag or statewide bow tag this year, and came out here on Friday with my dad and it was just my dad and I. We pulled the camper out, and really cold. It's down into the 20s, down in the teens at night. But we've seen a lot of deer over the first couple of days of hunting, and we kind of figured out where they were heading into a oats field, and went there last night and saw a lot of deer. A lot of deer came out into the field. I kind of just tucked up on the edge of the field there to see how close I could get to them. Had a lot of bucks come close to me. I wasn't able to get a shot off at any of them. And then at about 6 o'clock, Dad said that there was some bucks down in the valley coming up towards the field. So I went to the edge of the field there to look down in there, and I saw a lot of bucks, a lot of nice bucks. A couple of them were actually fighting down in there. They were going at it pretty good. But this buck here, he was halfway in between those fighting bucks and myself, and he was coming right up towards the field. And I kind of had an idea of what ridge he was going to come up, so I backed up off the ridge and went up towards the field and got on the point there on the fence line where I figured he'd come up out of the bottoms. And sure enough, he came up out of there. I kind of got caught out in the open, and he came up out of there, and he came to about 60 yards, and I got drawn back on him, and I had a fence in between the buck and me, and I shot, and I hit the fence. My arrow bounced straight to the ground, and he took off down the valley, and I went to creep over the side of the cliff there, and there he was standing there, still down there, only 70, 80 yards, and I ranged it, and I couldn't really get a good reading because I was shaking so much, and I knew he was going to run pretty soon, so I quickly drew back and shot, and he turned quite a bit by the time my arrow reached him. I ended up hitting him a little bit back, but I knew I had hit him, and he ran only 40, 50 feet, and he started stumbling, and he kind of fell backwards and laid down there for a little bit, and then he got up and moved a little ways and laid down again, and by that time I had seen my arrow sticking out of him. I could tell I had put an arrow back further on his body. So I watched him till I couldn't see him anymore, pitch black last night, and I could tell he still had his head up. I could see his white nose in the dark right up on the hillside. And so we let him lay overnight. Didn't want to get him up and get his adrenaline pumping, and so he could run a lot further. Just let him lay there overnight, and we sleepless night, nice and cold, and got out there early this morning, and we were going to do a little bit of looking over the field to see what came out to the field in the morning, and we got to the edge of the cliff, and I put my binoculars up to where I had last seen him, and there he was laying on the hillside, and he was full of snow, and he was just laying there dead, and I could tell he was the buck that I had shot. So we decided to stop looking for deer and go walk up to my buck here. Walked up there, and we must have got a whole lot of snow last night, but he was covered in snow, and I think he didn't last too long in the cold. But I hit at one of the main arteries, I think, and he made him bleed pretty good. But here he is. He's a 5x5, nice dark chocolate rack. He'll probably be in the 130s, I would guess. We've seen a lot of, maybe a couple bigger ones, but it's hard to pass up something like this. I've been coming out here hunting since probably about 2000, so close to 10 years, and I've never been able to get close enough on a buck. This is actually the first buck I've ever shot at, mule deer buck with my bow. So I was able to get lucky enough and hit him on my second shot. And there was some bigger ones down there, but I'll take it. Do a nice European mount on it, and he'll look nice on the wall. Nice dark rack. I knew he was short on his G4 on the left side, and then I thought he had a broken G2 here on this side, but it's just this stubby point there. It's nice, it's short, it's not broken. Nice brow tines. He's got some nice character down at the bases here. Sharp. Pretty nice grout times for a mule deer.
What kind of bow?
Well, I'm still using my Matthews bow. It's a Q2. I think it's like a 2002 model. And
yeah, he got that for a...
I don't remember.
Yeah, he got that as a gift when he was about 13. No, you weren't 14, maybe 13 years old when you got it. And got it from a guy in Devil's Lake. And third night in the stand, built a stand. Not much of a stand, but he built a stand. A guy let us come on his land. Kind of a platform, only about 8 feet off the ground. And he sat in it. And the third night there, I think it was about the third night, you had yourself a nice 4-pointer.
Yep.
And it's been history ever since.
I think I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Would this be my, I think my 6th buck with the bow? First mule deer buck with the bow. We've got, Dad and I have gotten a mule deer apiece with our rifles.
Yeah, I got a tag with me now. And some of those bucks are bigger than this one. But I'm not ready to shoot a mule deer, and I want to save my tag for a whitetail. Anyway, I think we told as much of the story as we want to tell. There's more to the story, but no sense telling the whole story.
Well, I mentioned that those other bucks, I never got a shot off on them. I kind of screwed up and didn't know they were there until they were 15 yards away.
Yeah, I had 2 of them, one 15 yards away, and it bolted on him. Another one come running right up to him, but he was out in the open, another 4-point, a little smaller than this one.
It must have been an omen.
Yeah, we never seen so many deer and some nice, there was deer all over the place, bucks all over the place, and geez, some nice looking bucks. The 2 bucks that were fighting, they were going at it pretty good.
I was using my, these are brand new sharpened Thunderhead 1.5s with Easton 340 grain arrows. And the arrow got in there pretty good for where it hit. It got in there about 3/4 of the way up the arrow there.